welcome to the latest episode of This Week in Geek. My name is Ren and I am currently awaiting my co-host for today's episode. Do not worry, he will be with us in a bit. If you're watching us live, thank you so much for joining the conversation, discussing our topics, not only with us, but with the live chat community as well. And if you're listening to us on the replay on Spotify or whatever you get your podcast from, thank you so much for finding us. Don't forget to rate us because that really helps the show. Whether you're on a commute, on a jog, at the gym, whatever you are, however you find us, thank you for finding us. And in case you don't know how the show works, it basically has three sections. The first section is when me and the co-host go through the weekly ranking. That's when we look back on everything that we watched this past week and rank it from worst to best. And then we highlight your weekly rankings that should leave us in the live chat. That's the only section of the live chat we use for the live show, and we bring up your lists onto the screen. After that, we go to our main discussion. That's the main topic. It's what you see on the title, it's what you see on the thumbnail. And of course, today we're going to be talking about who dies in Guardians of the Galaxy 3. For context, this is not a spoiler discussion. I'm not telling you who dies in Guardians of the Galaxy 3 because I haven't seen it yet. I see it on Tuesday, and you can expect a review on Wednesday for it, as well as a spoiler review, post-credit scene to explain all that good stuff. And finally, the third section of the show, our favorite section of the show, perhaps your favorite section of the show, is when Patrick comes into the show, but really when we go into your questions. Now, there are three ways of leaving questions. One, you can go to the community tab on my channel. There's a post there saying to leave your questions with a thumbnail for this episode. And we'll just do our best to get to your questions as long as the show goes. If not, if you want to guarantee your question is answered, if you want to bring it up to the screen, you can super chat us or use the tip link feature in the description. That's the only way we guarantee your question is answered. If you leave them in the community tab, we'll just do our best to get to it. But now he's finally here. Patrick, how are you doing today, man?
A little under the weather, but not too bad
no.
overall. I've just taken my meds and everything. I completely forgot you now start the show at 11 o'clock my time. I'm used to it being 12 a.m. my time, so I thought I had an extra hour. And admittedly, I was playing the new Star Wars game, Star Wars Jedi Survivor. Went out for a smoke, and then I received your message, and I'm like, oh, fuck. Like, I completely forgot.
I'm glad you brought Jedi Survivor up because I pre-ordered it. I pre-ordered the deluxe edition. I was supposed to get it yesterday. I was out all day yesterday, so it's not like I was going to play yesterday. But today in the morning, I remember, okay, it must be in the mailbox downstairs by the entrance. And so I go to the gym. I'm like, I'm not going to bother taking it out right now. So I go to the gym. I come over and I'm like, all right, let's get it. So I go to my mailbox. I take out the Amazon package, which it was brought in. And hang on, give me 1 second.
Oh no, what happened? I am very scared now.
First time. This never happened before. This has never happened to me before. I'm excited. I'm cutting it open. I open it up. And then whatever the fuck this is comes out. I have no idea what this is.
Bully Rectory.
Yeah,
What the fuck is that?
Of all the things for this to happen, of all the days, of all the items that could have been mixed up. And just this past week, I saw that a friend of mine also had a mix-up with his orders on Amazon. I don't know what this is. I already complained. They're replacing it. They are bringing a copy over tomorrow. Hopefully it arrives tomorrow. But guess what? I work tomorrow. I cannot play tomorrow. So fuck you, Amazon.
Fuck.
Yeah.
This is why I never get anything physical media delivered. I always either order it through the store and I go pick it up directly, or I just get it digitally, like I did for Survivor. Like Survivor, I just got digitally.
It's just easy here on Amazon. Like the game wasn't allowing me to process the order, so I just did. It's salt on the wound right now, but I'll be fine. I'll be fine. Let's just get us started with this. Move on from games and look over to what we watched through this past week. And through this past week, I watched quite a few things. Like not a lot, but most than what I've been rating at for a while now. Because I watched a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 movies on top of all the other miscellaneous TV shows and all that I watch. So, in last place, I'm going to have Inside. This is the Willem Dafoe trapped in an apartment building where he goes to steal some art from. And as much as I am a fan of single location movies and the creativity that brings upon to a story where a writer constantly has to challenge himself to come up with new conflicts, new challenges for the character, this just does nothing interesting with that premise. I was bored. It was laborious, and I did not care for it. I thought Willem Dafoe was very committed, but you know how I see things. The problem with movies is 9 times out of 10, never the actors. So yeah, he's good, but I wouldn't recommend this one. And now for an unpopular opinion. In fourth place, it's Ghosted. Apple TV Plus's Ghosted, which
I'm skipping
I'm
it.
not going to tell you it's a good movie. It's not, but I think the hate for it is way too exaggerated. Um, it's just a Sunday afternoon playing on, I don't know, the one of the main networks movie. Like, you don't need to pay attention, but it's fine. It's not that offensive as people are making it out to
Mhm.
be. Completely forgettable, completely mundane, but not really that special either way.
Yeah, because
On
people have
top of
made it out
that,
to be like the worst movie of the year thus far,
yes,
and I'm like, okay, I've seen quite a few movies myself this year, but I highly doubt that Ghosted, of all things, is going to be the worst thing that come out this year or has come out so far.
yeah, it's not. The worst movie so far for me this year is Unwelcome. That is horrible. I
Oh
hate
god,
that
I
movie.
blocked that one out of my mind. I completely
It's
fucking
so
forgot about
bad.
it.
It's so bad. Those last 20 minutes, I wanted the whole movie to be that. It wasn't.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
on top of that, and now all good movies from now on, I have Polite Society. You
Oh, okay.
probably heard rumblings of this one from Sundance. It's really charming. It's super fun. It's got really cool style and energy to it. I do wish a bit, given that this is a movie about with a lot of action and about a character who wants to be a stunt woman. I do wish the action was better and there was more of it.
Hmm.
I will say, and the villains become very.
Comical?
It's not the villain necessarily the problem because the whole film has this campy feel to it.
Right.
The actors playing the villains know it and all that, but there's this tonal disconnect. It's not really that it's tonally
Mm.
jarring, but I don't know. There's something in this movie about the story they're telling and then the villain's plan and what that entails. And I'm like, there's something really fucking sinister and dark about that the movie really isn't addressing tonally.
Right.
And I just wish they had. Like if the character said something more than, yo, you were doing this? What the fuck? And all that. So it's good. It's a good time. Go watch it. Just those are a few issues I have with it. On top of that, I'm going to have David Lowery's Peter Pan and Wendy. If you like when directors get to make their passion projects come to life, give this movie a watch. It's one of the, I'm not going to say it's the best Disney remake, reimagining, whatever you want to call it, but
Mhm.
I will say, if you are tired whenever Disney makes these live action versions of their classics and it's the same thing again, this is not one of those. This one
Mhm.
has enough reinvention where there's the bare bones essentials of what made us all fall in love with the story of Peter Pan,
Mhm.
Neverland, Wendy, all that, and there's something new added to it where right in this one it's Peter Pan and Wendy. The main character, the main perspective is Wendy. You go with her to Neverland, you observe Neverland and its characters with her. And Jude Law as Captain Hook. I was actually not thrilled with this casting as much as I love Jude Law. I was not thrilled with the look. I think maybe outside Steven Spielberg's Hook, this is by far my favorite version of the duo of Peter Pan and Hook
Mhm.
on screen together.
Right.
And finally, number one, yesterday, 40th anniversary re-release of the best Star Wars movie, Return of the
Ah,
Jedi. I saw
I
it in the
disagree.
cinema. I cried. It was wonderful. It's as good as it's always been at home. But I finally got to watch it on the big screen, and that made it really special, beyond how special the movie already is for me. So yes, Return of the Jedi is my number one for the week of April 28th, 2023. Patrick, what do you got?
Really quickly, I want to add I got to see a triple feature in theaters in IMAX of
Ooh.
the original trilogy despecialized back when theaters first
Oh,
opened
is that even
after
legal?
COVID. No,
Okay, thought so.
it's not. It's
Okay.
not. It was organized by cinema staff and everything as like a one-time showing, and they had
Uh,
one of those like
mhm.
Blu-ray despecialized editions that you can buy on like fucking eBay,
Yeah.
and they just
Yeah.
played those, and it was just fucking
Nice.
awesome to see it like that. Um, so seeing like non-CG Jabba the Hutt with Han and
Yeah.
Jabba's interaction in A New Hope was a little strange after all these years because until then I'd never actually seen the despecialized editions. I grew up. Oh, I
Okay.
watched them on
Yeah.
VHS when I was really young, but like aside from that, I'd never seen them. I saw them like once prior. Um, I didn't really watch much this week, but I've been more focusing on like getting a video up for Critics Play Games and then working on my platinums for Dead Island 2 and Jedi Survivor. But I did watch a few things this week. At the very bottom, I watched only good things this week, by the way.
Okay.
At the bottom, I watched Weathering with You again. Still a beautiful,
Nice.
beautiful movie. The relation between the two lead characters, Makoto Shinkai, really knows how to direct beautiful anime romance, and it's always
Yeah.
so unique. Um, I just wish it wasn't playing itself so safe. Like that's my biggest issue with Weathering with You. It feels like Shinkai was like, "Your name worked so well. Let's do something very, very similar, like
Yeah.
formulaic wise, rather than taking a leap like he did with Suzume."
Mhm.
Which Suzume definitely has its similarities to Your Name and Weathering with You as well, but they feel more like a stretch, more like a leap and a risk than anything else in comparison to what Weathering with You was to Your Name. Next up, I have Demon Slayer season 3, episode 4. Yeah, Demon Slayer is pretty low on my list, but I just watched so many things that are better this week. Episode 4, no, episode 3, my apologize. Episode 4 comes out tomorrow. Episode 3 was phenomenal. It's unlike the Entertainment District, it doesn't take 4 or 5 episodes to get into the action. What I love about the Swordsmith Village arc from the manga is it takes the time to develop characters through the battles, through the moments of intense combat. And I think that's one of the best ways in anime, in my opinion. Like some of the best that do it is Dragon Ball, Naruto, Bleach. If they're going to have characterization and flashbacks, they usually do those in the middle of fight scenes. So it shows what they have to fight for or gives them a reason as to why they are fighting. And that's what Demon Slayer in the Swordsmith Village arc does so well. So within 3 episodes, we're already into the action. And I shouldn't be surprised. It's ufotable. But their animation is just, they've upped it once again. Like the beginning of this battle has already like broken how good the final 2 episodes of Demon Slayer season 2 were. And those 2 episodes
Nice.
broke the fucking internet. Like
Yeah.
it was all over the place. So I can't wait to see what the climax of this battle is like, considering how I know how intense it gets. Next up, I started watching Mashal Magic and Muscles. This is a really silly, really dumb anime that a lot of people describe as Harry Potter, but anime. But I like to describe it
Okay.
as Black Clover and Harry Potter, but in a different world. It's like Harry Potter and Black Clover have mixed together because our lead character is in a world where it's filled with magic. He's at a magic school, but he has no abilities. He has no magic. And they're people that are frowned upon, sometimes even executed because they don't have a place in the world. In the end, he trained his body to be so fucking strong that it seems like he has magic. There's literally a scene, I think it was in episode
Okay.
2 or something, where he is challenged to a race to fly a broom. And instead of flying the broom because he can't use magic, in a split second, he javelin throws the fucking broom so fast and uses the muscles in his legs to launch himself and lands on the broom to make it look like he is flying and uses the force and the wind of his
That
throw
sounds
combined.
fun.
It's so enjoyable. It's so silly. It's so ridiculous.
What's the name again?
Mashal Magic and Muscles. Mashle and then Magic and Muscles.
Is it like a current anime or is it all?
Yeah, it's a new one. It's a new one that's
And
just streaming.
Okay, I'm finding one that just says Mashal, but
Mashal.
they're like, there's the like they have like scars, lines on their face
Yes,
and stuff.
that's it.
Okay, so this is the one. Okay, all
Yeah,
right, I'll check
it's
this one
so
out, man.
enjoyable. It's really enjoyable. I've been loving it so much. It's so funny. I haven't laughed this much in an anime in God knows how long. It's just such a feel good, funny, dumb anime,
Yeah.
and the characters are likable.
All
Hell's
right.
Paradise is next. I started watching Hell's Paradise as well. This started off as a really nice, very beautiful looking anime, and then it takes an absurdly dark turn. This is
Okay.
brutal. It's dark, it's depressing, but the world and the narrative and your lead are so invested and invigorating to get to know. It's not one I want to spoil because it is just that good.
That is one I actually have noted down because I heard
Yeah.
rumblings about it. That one, Hell's Paradise, and what's the other one? Uh, Hell's Paradise, and I have uh, keep going as I look for it because
Oh,
I
you're
swear I
right.
have it somewhere.
Um, Next up on my list, Tonikawa Over the Moon. It's a really damn good romance anime where, sorry, oh, your mic's cut out. Uh, you're still muted.
All right.
There we go. Um, Tonikawa Over the Moon season 2 has just been beautiful thus far. Like, I love season 1 so much. I watched the dub of it, admittedly, but like, basically, an immortal girl falls for a guy, and a guy falls for her after he's hit by a truck, and she saves his life. And
Okay.
they get married very early after he's waited years to find her like studies and everything. Um, it's just very feel good. It's just very feel good. Next up, I saw Suzume again. Suzume is just
Yay!
beautiful. I love Suzume. I sort of went on a Makoto Shinkai sort of thing
Yes.
this week because next up is actually Your Name. I rewatched Your Name. I fucking cried my eyes out in the middle of that movie once again, just like I always do. I have been driving to work every day and listening to Sparkle on repeat.
Yes.
It's such a beautiful song, and Zen 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 is also so much fun to listen to.
It's so good. Did you know, by the way, they made English covers? Like officially, Radwimps made English covers of it. So it's the same
Of
exact song, but
Sparkle
they
and
sing it
everything.
in English. Yeah,
Yeah,
they
I
have
did know
for.
that because there are versions on YouTube which play both versions back to
Okay.
back.
Nice. Okay.
And
Nice.
finally, at number 1 for this week, I started watching The Good Doctor,
Oh,
Freddie
okay.
Highmore,
Mm-hmm.
who you might know from Bates Hotel or Motel,
Yeah.
whatever the hell it was called. This is such a damn good show because I've never been into shows like Criminal Minds, NCIS, Grey's Anatomy, but this is a great show where it shows the struggles that someone with autism who is quite high on the spectrum, the struggles he goes through to earn respect, not just from his colleagues and peers, but also from his patients as an autistic surgeon. He's a surgical
Mm-hmm.
resident. And, you know, seeing him only being told to do suction, to being trusted to do full on liver and heart transplants and all these complicated surgeries, he has such a brain. And Freddie Highmore's performance is fucking insane. Like, his pull back, but also outreach with his performance. At times, it feels like he's on the verge of overacting, but you can tell he's pulling it back simultaneously. And it really feels like you are watching someone with autism on screen. His outbursts with,
Alright.
what is it, frequency overloads and everything. And when people aren't listening to him, his frustrations and everything. It's heartbreaking. There's a certain episode, I think it was in season 4, where do you care about spoilers or
No, I'm not gonna watch it.
okay?
It's one of
Well,
those
here's
shows like doesn't appeal to me. But please do
that's
continue.
fair. He gives medication to an unborn fetus to try and save it, but then he finds out afterwards, after the fetus had passed away, that the medication was out of date, that it was expired. And if it wasn't
Oh
for the
shit.
fact that the medication was expired, he would have been able to save the baby. And in that moment, he's saying he can't marry his fiance, that his mentor and his father figure was a bad friend and a bad mentor. Why is everyone lying to him? And his breakdown, his outbursts, the pain he feels is just heartbreaking. Like Freddie Highmore, I can't speak any higher of him in this show. This is easily like his career-defining performance. Like I loved him in Bates Motel, sorry, but him as Sean Murphy is insane. Like if you, even though it may not appeal to you, if you ever get the chance, even just try episode 1. Episode 1,
right.
I was like, I've seen the clips on TikTok, whatever. I'll watch episode 1, and I've been hooked since.
All right. Sounds good, man. Thank you. Thank you for the recommendation. All right. And that is it for our weekly ranking. But now let's check out what you guys have to say in the live chat, starting with a good friend of the show, Eric Thorpe. Number 1, Casino Royale. Number 2, The Mandalorian Season 3 finale. Number 3, Justice League Season 2. Number 4, The Sopranos Season 3. Number 5, The Super Mario Brothers movie. Number 6, Chevalier. I have not seen this yet, and it doesn't currently have a release date for the UK.
Oh, really?
It looks cheap from the trailers, and I've heard.
Is that the Prime
things.
TV show?
No. It's a movie with Kelvin Harrison Jr. and Samara Weaving about this French violinist, I believe.
That.
Yeah,
I
it's
was
a
thinking of
period piece.
Citadel,
Yeah.
sorry. I was thinking of Citadel.
That one I want to check out. I still haven't started, but I'm going to check out because Richard Madden. So, yeah. Chevalier, number 7, The Flash Season 5. Number 8, Peter Pan and Wendy. Number 9, I think We're Alone Now. That's a song, but I don't think I recognize as a movie title. Number 10, Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels. I am shocked at seeing it that low, man.
Bro,
That's a
Lock, Stock,
really
and
great
Smoking
movie.
And Two Smoking Barrels is phenomenal.
It's so good. It's been a while since I watched it, but it's so good. I love it, man.
Man, that's upsetting.
Yeah. The worst thing you can say about Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels is that it is an inferior version of Snatch, so to speak.
Yeah, but at the same time, having that so low would be saying, even though it's really ridiculous and not the greatest movie, that the Boondock Saints wouldn't be like up in the top 5 of your list. That is a dumb movie, but it is so funny. And I think Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels is sort of in the same category there.
Yeah. It's so good. I love it. Now I got to find time to watch it soon.
Yeah.
Nathan Madigan, weekly ranking. Number 7, The Whale. Watched it twice. Number 6, Midnight Special. Another underrated movie that more people should watch. Number 5, 8.5. Number 4, Breathless. Number 3, Moonrise Kingdom. Number 2, The Maltese Falcon. Number 1, Mud. You have like 2, maybe 3. Maybe I would put Mud up there. Like 3 of my favorite movies with Mud. Maltese Falcon is an all-timer. It's the greatest noir movie ever made. And Midnight Special. Like such good movies. And the guy who did Midnight Special, he is directing the Quiet Place spin-off, A Quiet Place Day 1.
I know. I'm excited.
So excited.
I'm excited because of that. Because is that coming out next year, by the way?
They started shooting, if not last year, like super early this year. So it's gotta.
Well, I thought they wrapped production like a month or so ago.
Was it? Then it probably.
I think, because quote me on
I remember the announcement of the first day of shooting. I just don't remember if it was like January this year or late last year. But either way, it's gonna be. If it's not done already, it's gonna be done very soon because it's been like 3 months, almost 4 since January.
It's scheduled for July next year, apparently.
Okay, so yeah, summer 2024,
and it's in post-production. I just checked.
Nice.
Post-production.
All right.
Cool.
Luis Feliciano, number 5, Better Call Saul. Number 4, Friends, the entirety of season 1. Number 3, The Mandalorian season 3 finale. Number 2, Cocaine Bear. And number 1, All the President's Men. A big blind spot for me. I've never seen All the President's Men.
What?
Yeah, no, I have not.
Bro.
I did not. Have not seen it.
You're missing out.
I know it's one of those like, oh, I should totally watch this movie that I have missed, but I still haven't gotten time.
You'll love it. You'll love it. Yeah. It's right up your alley.
All right. Is that it? Yep. Right now, that's it. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for sharing your weekly rankings with us. And now, before you go to the funnest part of the show, let's start with our main topic. Next week, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 is coming out. A lot of people in the States have seen it. A few people over here in the UK have seen it. I have not seen it. Patrick, have you seen it already?
I have not. We don't get special events
Okay.
like that here in Australia, unfortunately.
Yeah. We have a press screening on Tuesday over here, so that's when I'll watch it. That's when you'll get my reaction and
I've got
my
it on
review
Wednesday.
on Wednesday. All right.
I've got my screening on Wednesday,
Well,
which is about your
because
Tuesday
of
for
time
you.
difference. Yeah, exactly. Because of time difference, we'll kind of be watching it, if not at the same time,
Yeah.
almost at the same time.
Hey, I got my invite for Fast X though. Huh.
Nice. I also got for that one. When is yours? Let me. I don't know.
Monday the 15th of May.
I think mine is the 16th. Yeah, 16th. Yeah, Tuesday.
We got like a
16th of May.
pre-show. We're getting like a full pre-show, like black carpet, fucking beer and drinks party and DJ show.
All out.
And I'm like,
all right.
Fuck.
Why is that a pre-party and not an after-party?
Bro, I don't fucking get it. It's a pre-party with drinks and everything. They did the same thing with F9 back in 2021.
Yeah, because you run the risk of getting people drunk to the screening. You don't want.
Well, that's probably what I might need going into Fast X.
No, come on. All right. Speaking of Fast X, Vin Diesel is in Guardians of the Galaxy 3. So since we brought him up, let's start with our discussion. Let's run down who is least to most likely to die. And even in that spectrum, even if we think, oh, this person is the most likely to die, we might not even think they necessarily die. It's just the one that's most likely. I know what's my number one. Like, I'll be shocked if this character doesn't die. But let's start with Vin Diesel, since we brought him up. Groot.
No.
Patrick, give me a percentage.
0%. I'm sorry.
0%.
He already died in Guardians 1 and was reborn as Baby Groot. I don't see them killing Groot all over again because, you know, it would just be like, oh, we've been here before, so therefore it's familiar. It doesn't have the same impact. Groot was such a lovable presence because of just I am Groot in Guardians 1 and that little beautiful moment where he says, we are Groot. I just don't see them doing that again, nor do I see them topping it. Therefore, I really don't think he'll die.
You made all my arguments for me. The only thing I will add is let's take into consideration that this is the last movie with this formation, this version of the Guardians. Even if they were to all go their ways, and I don't think that's going to happen. I think we're going to have a few Guardians stick around, bring others in the future, and those will be the new Guardians. But Groot, sorry to break it to everyone, Vin Diesel has never been on set of these movies. He's worked for these movies a week in total, I think, because he goes in and he spends a day recording several inflections of I am Groot. I wouldn't be shocked if at this point they have every possible inflection, so they could just use recordings right now. I'm not saying that would be ethical or anything. I'm just saying it's possible. So Groot can continue on without them actually needing Vin Diesel in there.
Exactly.
So I don't think Groot has to die narratively. I don't think Groot has to die because the actor is going away and doesn't want to do these movies anymore. Again, for each movie, he probably does 3 days of recordings, if not less. So
he doesn't even do the
mocap. Sticking
around.
Yeah, exactly. Groot is sticking around. All right. From Groot, let's go to Kraglin, one of the newest members of Sean Gunn.
Yes.
So he joined effectively per se the Guardians at the end of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. He was present on the holiday special. He's got the arrow and the mohawk from Yondu and all that. I don't think this is entirely impossible, but I also don't think there's been enough of an emotional attachment. If it was Volume 3, knowing we would get a Volume 4, I would put him higher. But I don't think there's been enough of an emotional attachment to kill this character as an important part of the story in the last chapter. So I'm going to give it a 20%. Because I don't think it's impossible. Yeah, but I also don't think they're gonna sweep the ground with dead bodies, and Kraglin's gonna be one of them. What do you think?
The only thing a couple things I'll add is the only reason I see them killing Kraglin is if they give a lot of development for him in this movie and really
Yeah, true.
reflect on the bond between him and Yondu, because him and Yondu were very close, hence why he now has the arrow and everything. And not only that, him and Peter were also very close, but unfortunately, we didn't get enough of development between Kraglin and Peter as we did to Yondu and Peter. Yondu was
Yeah.
almost the father figure for Peter and the one that he recognized as his true father, even though his biological father was there in Volume 2. I just don't see them killing Kraglin because when they say that this is the last time we see this core team as the Guardians, that means there is room for the older generation of Guardians or a new generation of Guardians to come in. And I actually think there is a possibility that out of all of these characters, because Kraglin only joined the Guardians at the end of Volume 2, he could return as maybe the new leader for there to be more development to provide to him as a Guardian moving forward. Just because this is the last time we see like Gamora, Nebula, Drax, and all that sort of stuff, doesn't mean because he has never been a core member that this is the last time we see Kraglin.
It's true. It's true. All right. Now, another newish member of the Guardians, Cosmo the Space Dog, 0%. Don't you ever fucking dare
0%.
killing the dog. 0%.
I don't see Marvel doing that. I'm sorry. Marvel doesn't have the balls to kill a dog.
Do you know what they're doing, though? This is not like a spoiler. I was just watching Chris Pratt on Jimmy Kimmel yesterday. I wasn't watching yesterday. I was watching the video from yesterday. They're dropping the first Marvel F-bomb.
Yeah, I saw that when he's trying to, she's trying to open the car door and he's trying to tell Nebula how to do it.
Okay, I want to see that. I think that's fun. But yeah, 0%.
Yeah,
don't kill the.
It's a clip right now. It's online.
Oh, okay. But I'm staying away. I only watched the teaser. I didn't even watch the second trailer. Yeah.
Well, I haven't either. I saw the clips and I was like, oh, fuck it, whatever.
All right. So Cosmo the Space Dog survives. Kraglin most likely survives, and Groot also definitely survives. So let's go with Adam Warlock. Again, I think a 0% because you're just introducing this character. Will Poulter checks notes, aka Wikipedia, is 30 years old. He's gonna, he turned 30 years old this week. He's my age. You want this guy to stick around the MCU. You want Adam Warlock, the character, to stick around the MCU.
Well,
you're not.
They've also been setting up Adam Warlock. They've also been setting up Adam Warlock since like Guardians 1. And for him to be killed off in his first outing would just be like, hey, so the guy that you like, I don't care about the screen time because it's been revealed he has less than 10 minutes of screen time. Don't give a fuck about that because some of the best MCU villains have less than 10 minutes of screen time.
Yeah, it's true.
So a lot of them do, like fucking hell. But I don't think that's a disservice to the character. Some of the best villains in movies and TV have less than 10 minutes of screen time. Look at fucking Michael Myers in Halloween 1. He had less than 3 minutes of screen time in the original Halloween. Like,
is it that little? Huh?
It's that little because it's just brief glimpses and his kills. Yeah. That's it.
That makes sense. Makes sense.
But he's one of the best villains in horror pop culture or movie 100%. Culture in general. So, but for them to kill off Adam Warlock in his first outing with Will Poulter being one, a very popular young actor, and two, being as young as he is still, because a lot of the fucking teens are going to come see him still, or people my age, because we grew up watching him in Maze Runner.
And in the Narnia movie.
Exactly. And if you're a horror fan and love video games, you're going to go see him because he was in Little Hope, the Dark Pictures anthology game.
Oh, yeah.
He was in Little Hope. He was the main character. So
good shout.
He has a big audience from so many diverse fucking genres and platforms.
Yeah.
People are going to want to see more of him. I want to see more of him. I love Will Poulter. He is so good.
Yeah, I agree. I think we have a bright future with a long future with Adam Warlock sticking around in the MCU. All right. So from basically characters who are just about to join the Guardians to still one of the newest members, Palm Clementif's Mantis. This is a character that was introduced obviously in Volume 2, and I think she just got prominence with the holiday special. I like her in Volume 2. I like her in
Because that's
Infinity
canon, isn't
War.
it?
I like her in yeah. I
Okay,
like her
good.
in Endgame, but I feel the holiday special drops this massive bomb with her
Yeah.
character that adds a new layer, especially to her part in Volume 2.
Mhm.
I still think this is one of the characters that sticks around to the future of whatever iteration of the Guardians we see. I'm not going to say it's impossible. I think the only three impossible ones we've covered, it's Groot, it's Warlock, it's Cosmo. Those are the three impossible ones.
Yeah.
For
Uh,
Mantis, I'm still going to go with a measly 10%.
really? I was gonna go
Yeah.
40.
Oh, wow. Please explain your thoughts on this. I want to hear it.
Personally, I think Mantis has been such a lovable and deep and prevalent character since day one of her involvement in
Okay.
the MCU since Volume 2. I'm not a massive fan of Volume 2, but I adore Guardians 1. But my favorite thing of Volume 2 were the characters, and my favorite character was actually Mantis. I
All right.
think what they do with her character of her being almost emotionless, treated basically as a slave to ego, but then finding solitude in not just the group, but a true bond and relationship with Drax is insanely beautiful. As you mentioned as well, that moment in what is it? What they did with her in the special, it's a bomb. Like they add so this new beautiful layer to her. And I even say they did that in Infinity War when she's trying to put Thanos to sleep, when she reads his mind, when she finds out that Gamora is dead. Like
Mhm.
you see not just her importance to the group, but also the pillar she is for everyone else because they can let a lot of their emotions out through her. And a big thing is, it's almost like Drax has found his new companion, his new connection with a character other than his wife after Volume 1 in
Yeah.
Mantis. And that's why I have it at a 40 because I'll talk about it later, but there's a certain reason to why it doesn't go over 50% because there is a reason her character could grow and be even more heartfelt and more emotional, which I think is more likely, especially when this is the final outing for other certain characters. I have it at a 40 because I think there's actually a pretty prevalent chance due to how Gunn has treated her character. But I don't think it's over that 50% margin.
All right. And from there, we go to the best Guardian, Nebula, who also
Mm,
joined the team in Volume 2, technically speaking. I think Nebula sticks around. You talked about Warlock as the leader of the new Guardians. No, you talked about Kraglin as the leader of the new Guardians.
mm,
To me, Nebula sticks around. She is the new leader, per se,
mm,
of the new formation of the Guardians. I think this character's journey has been honestly quite beautiful, particularly what they do in Volume 2. Volume 2 is the
mm,
best Guardians movie for me. I like
mm.
Volume 1, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying Volume 1 is trash,
Of
but
course.
Nebula's journey and growth and really how the story tackles these characters in Volume 2, but particularly Nebula with Gamora's relationship,
Mhm.
that's just is on a whole nother
And even
level. And I
Peter.
think, yeah, even Peter. Um, Karen Gillan is just a very, 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 very good actress. For me, she can
She is.
do a lot. She has done a lot with this character. Obviously, me and Patrick share a love for her from beyond the Marvel
She
Cinematic
she's
Universe into a
my
certain, yeah,
favorite modern companion of the Doctor.
yes,
She's also my
correct. I
childhood
agree.
crush as well.
Yes,
I love Karen Gillan so
yeah.
much. I'm not gonna lie, teenage Patrick seeing Jumanji in theaters and she had those very short booty pants made me very
Hmm.
happy when I was a teenager. I'm not gonna deny it. She's the best modern companion. She is. She just
She
is.
is 100%. I don't think she dies. I think Gamora
Mhm.
will get put through the ringer because I don't know that she has necessarily a connection to the High Evolutionary. I don't know that she even heard of him. But understanding the kind of story you're going to dive deep into and understanding Rocket's backstory and his trauma, I think there's a
Mhm.
lot of parallels there with Nebula and her experiences with Thanos and what he did to her. So I think this film could further her journey and her outward connections now that she's gone through volume 2 and she's a character that has begun to accept love. Can she now give some of it? And I'll fucking ball if that happens. If there's any great scene with her, I don't know.
She kisses
being
Rocket
there
Raccoon.
for Rocket. Yeah. Like a forehead kiss, like an embrace, like it's okay. I'm here. Something like that. That will be much less cheesy in execution from James Gunn, but yeah,
or
I
problematic.
think this character's or hopefully not.
Yes,
but I don't think this character dies. But if he is to kill several characters off, I think one that would be effective would be Nebula. So I'm going to go up to a 25%. Patrick, what do you think?
There are 3 characters I actually think Gunn's going to kill off in this movie. I don't think it's 1 or 2. I think it's 3.
Okay.
Nebula is one of them.
Okay.
And that's because of 2 reasons. I'm going to say it off the bat, but we'll discuss it a little more later. Gamora's not going to die. Gamora's not going to die. I'm just going to say right now. But
he just did.
Exactly. We'll talk about it a little more later. But Nebula dying, on the other hand, because of her growth in Volume 2, again, probably my second favorite character in Volume 2, between Peter learning to understand and tolerate Drax, her relationship with Rocket, accepting love with Gamora and that sisterly bond. Granted, this is a new version of her sister, as she's a multiverse variant of the Gamora she knew, because the Gamora she knew, her sister is dead. I think that there is a damn good chance Nebula dies because we've already seen the effect that Gamora dying had on Nebula. I think seeing what would happen in vice versa would be devastating because we both get to see both sides of it. But because, if I'm not mistaken, this current Gamora's Nebula died in Endgame, correct?
Yep. Yep.
So to lose her sister...
It was actually our Nebula that killed that Nebula.
Exactly. But to see her sister die a second time, a version she can actually bond with and be companioned with, would be fucking devastating. And it would be the nail in the coffin, not for Nebula losing her sister twice, because I don't think they'd have such an emotional... I don't think they'd do Gamora again because of what emotional moment happened in Infinity War. But Nebula's death in Endgame wasn't particularly emotional. I was like, oh, fucking cool. She just killed herself, quote unquote. But at the same time, I think doing it in a way where there's now an emotional connection that is even better, but they have to build it up in this movie, would be devastating. I think Nebula has about a 70% chance of death in this movie, personally.
That is high.
But that's purely because of her relationship with Rocket, Peter, even Groot to a certain degree, learning to tolerate Drax, no matter how much Mantis fucking annoys her. Nebula has learned to bond with her, and now building up that new relationship with this new version of Gamora. I think killing off Nebula would be a deeply tragic and heartbreaking moment, considering she has become one of the best members of the team.
You make a lot of good points, and I very much hope you're wrong. I think, and I still believe that Nebula does survive. She sticks around. But I had never heard such good arguments otherwise until just now. So my worry has slightly increased. I still overall think she survives. So from Nebula to another very obtuse character, let's say that, another obtuse member of the Guardians, Drax the Destroyer, though he doesn't really deserve that title in the MCU. I'm not saying that as a good or bad thing. I'm just saying that as an observation.
He's like modern day Kratos now, as in hindsight. He went from being Drax the Destroyer after his wife died, Kratos, to then be something more heartfelt and loving, like in God of War 2018 and God of War Ragnarok, in my opinion.
Good comparison. I like that. So Drax. It's a tricky one because on one hand, we have spent a lot of time with this character. We have grown to love him as a member of this team. We have gotten to know him. And he's gone through the development that makes sense for his character to get. On the other hand, And again, without seeing this movie, we can't comment on whether or not this movie does that part of the job per se, but I don't think we've earned coming to the point where Drax dies. I think we've come to a
Really?
point. Yeah, I think we've come to the point where Drax's journey ends with him finding peace and walking
Mm.
off into the sunset per se.
With
So
with
I'm
Mantis,
going to,
maybe.
yeah. If he walks out, and again, I think Mantis is sticking around, but if Drax does survive and merely walks off, he could go in Mantis. Because they've grown that bond ever since Volume 2, and even more so on the holiday special.
Mm.
But I don't think Drax dies. I'm going
Okay.
slightly under Nebula because, again, if Drax dies, I don't think it has quite the same effect as it does if Nebula dies, especially because of what you
Mm.
said as well. So I can't quite go 25 as I did for Nebula, but I'm going 20% for Drax. What about you?
Okay. Mine's again a little bit higher. Drax is the second character I think they're gonna kill off.
Okay.
Mine is more a
I
sense.
think I think the other character you think they'll kill off is
Yeah.
the same one as I have, which is the only
Yeah.
character I think they'll kill off. By the way.
Okay. For me, Drax is a character that I have grown to adore. He's definitely got the bombastic, very quick to judge, quick to act attitude like he did
Yeah.
in Volume 1, but he's a lot more laid back in regards to his involvement and his relationship with others. You look at him in Volume 1 compared to where he is now. He is a much more laid back character who can hold a genuine conversation rather than just jumping to act like he did in Volume 1. I understand through the Guardians he has found a form of solitude and peace with the death of his wife and daughter. But you can always tell that there was still something on his mind there. And considering Ronan was the one who killed his wife and daughter, alongside now the force of Adam Warlock coming into the picture, I'm going to say, I feel like there will be such a rivalry there that I think will be not only very interesting, but very brutal as well. And he's grown a lot with Groot, but I think the two characters he's grown with most would be Nebula and Mantis, and even Rocket to a certain degree. But I feel like for the characters to die, there needs to be a connection for the ones to survive. If Mantis is to survive, I feel like they need to kill off Drax. For Gamora to survive, I feel they need to kill off Nebula. And for Groot and Peter to survive, they need to kill off Rocket, in my opinion. I think Drax still hasn't found full peace. And the only way such a character, even through the Guardians, can find true solitude and peace with the crimes he's committed, with the vile actions he's, committed through the act of passion, I'll say, to get revenge for his wife. I feel like he needs to die. Almost like, say, if Kratos were to die in a third God of War game coming up. He could be in Valhalla with his wife and leave Atreus behind to be the new god of mischief more than anything else, because, spoiler alert, if you haven't played Ragnarok, he is Loki.
Spoiler if you haven't played the first one.
Yeah. But with that said, I think that Drax will die purely for these reasons. And I think it's almost as if Kratos were to die and, be in Valhalla with his wife. I think it would be a very similar situation where he can be at peace and see his wife and daughter again. Because even though he's grown with the Guardians and become a better person and found a new family, there's still an element of him, I feel, that hasn't let go of his old family and still can't let go.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. All right. From Drax, we go to Gamora. She just came back. She is on the run. I feel like the first teaser doesn't really give anything away of where Gamora is. That she's separated from the Guardians, apart from a few shots here and there. But we pretty much said it, I feel, along as we were discussing other characters. But this is a character that just came back. The only thing I will add is that I feel, because of this tragic across space and timelines romance, what we've earned with Gamora's journey, and by consequence Peter's journey, is they've earned their happy ending. and they're going to stay in nowhere. I assume they're going to stay in nowhere because now they've made their place their home.
Yeah.
And they're going to leave the galaxy to be guarded by someone else. I think this film, in part, is about bringing them together and letting them rest after all the suffering.
Bringing Sylvester Stallone as a new primary member of the Guardians and everything, and have him be a new Guardian. That's what I mean. Like, bring him as an actual Guardian and maybe even the leader of the new Guardians. I think that'd be cool.
I like that. Yeah. But yeah, I don't think this character dies whatsoever. I'm going goose egg. I'm going 0%. She just died.
I agree, and I just don't think they can top what happened in Infinity War. I'm sorry. Even if they did kill her again, it just wouldn't feel like, oh no, we've been here before. Who cares?
Yeah, I agree. All right, from her, it only makes sense to go to Peter Quill, Star-Lord, and pretty much the same thing. I think this character does retire. I think James Gunn brings him full circle across his journey and has Peter make a choice where he wants to be he has to choose to be this reckless outcast ship captain, goes around collecting bounties across space, all that, or does he get the girl? In description, in theory, it's the most basic thing ever, but it's the most kind of relatable thing ever. So I really like that. I really like, especially for the guy who's the Earthling amidst this group of extraordinary aliens and weird creatures. So I want him to get the girl. I want him to find peace by getting the girl, and I want him to retire. So I think Star-Lord, 0% of dying. Patrick?
I'm going to say 5 purely because he's the main character and, you know, he's like the main guy that we've been following with the Guardians since Volume 1, but I don't think he's dying. My basic prediction is he chooses the girl, him and Gamora get hitched at the end as like a little farewell to the Guardians, and they have
Ooh, I like that. I want to see them get married. I hadn't thought of that.
And I'm going to predict that the mid-credit scene is them with a nice, beautiful family where they've had kids and everything. I just think that would be a beautiful way to end Peter's story after everything he's fucking been through. He lost his mother. His father was a fucking dick. He lost his only father figure. It only makes sense to have a mid-credit scene after the ending where they get hitched. If they get hitched, I should say, where in the mid-credit scene, just like in Wakanda Forever with the baby boy named T'Challa and everything, I feel like Gamora and Peter having a family where Peter can finally have peace there it makes the most sense in my opinion, and I think it would be something truly beautiful, especially considering he was the scavenger who'd go around sleeping with all the girls while he's going from planet to planet grabbing bounties. Like, it shows growth in that case where he has finally found someone he can settle down with.
I agree. All right, last one, Patrick. The Guardian that is definitely going to die at 100%, Rocket Raccoon. Not only because this story is very much focused on it, this is James Gunn's last Marvel movie for the foreseeable future. It is definitely his last Guardians of the Galaxy movie. Rocket Raccoon is his favorite character. And this has been the franchise within the MCU that has been shepherded all along by one single person. The only other thing that comes close is John Watts' Spider-Man trilogy. And as much as I may like at least 2 out of the 3 movies in that trilogy more than any of the Guardians movies, I think we can all agree James Gunn is much more of a visionary,
of course,
and maybe it feels too big a word, than John Watts.
Yeah.
None of the other trilogies have had the singular director helming all movies. James Gunn has been with these characters. He has made these cinematic versions of these characters his own. And the characters he sees himself in the most is Rocket Raccoon. So if he's off to greener pasture, to new pastures, not necessarily greener, to new pastures in the DCU, he's not going to come back. He will kill someone off. He's going to kill, quote unquote, himself off. He's going to leave his heart with the MCU, and that is by killing Rocket Raccoon. And it fits. It fits with the story. It fits with who this character is, because the more we find, and that's a big reason why I love Volume 2, is that after introducing us to all these larger than life personalities and getting to know just how much fun these characters are with them coming together, even though they're all outcasts, even though they're all lone wolves, kind of.
Yeah.
Part two volume two, that is, gets into all these vulnerabilities. Why are they so much quote unquote fun? And he explores the humanity within. And I think
Yeah.
Rocket he is so broken. He has always been broken. He has always lost, and he has always escaped. I didn't see
Yeah.
that clip that they released with him and Lila and all the other animals.
Yep.
But what it feels to me is that he has always escaped. He has always been at least
Well,
with
he's Rocket.
Groot.
A rocket
He's
usually
Rocket.
escapes.
And now he's not going to run anymore. I think the best thing to bring this character full circle is he's not going to run, and he's going to save his friends. This time it's him who makes the sacrifice. And the fact that he's even willing to do that, it's a completely different character than that was in Volume 1. So Rocket Raccoon, it makes all the sense in the world for him to die. And it hurts to put in those words, but kind of just on a narrative point of view, just go with me with what I'm about to say. He deserves to die because that's the most rewarding fulfillment of his arc. Patrick, what do you think?
I completely agree. From when we saw him in Volume 1 to where he is now, there was even a line in the teaser trailer. I'm only going to reference the teaser trailer because there's a moment of him lying on his back where he's like, I'm going to peek into the pale blue sky, and then he's like, I'm done running. He's no longer running away. He's no longer fighting to flee. He is willing to face danger head on because even though Rocket's always been a badass, there's always been this element of him who's been afraid to die because his life, after all that's happened to him in his past, which is yet to be explored in a greater level to what we're about to get in Volume 3, he had a terrible life prior to the Guardians, and his life has only just begun. That's why he's fleeing. That's why he's always running. That's why there's always this act of cowardice with Rocket in a certain way. But I feel it makes the most sense to kill him off because he is the one that has held the Guardians together this entire time. It hasn't been Peter. It hasn't been Drax. It hasn't been Groot or Nebula or Gamora. It has been Rocket. He is the one who has held them all together this entire time. And for him to die as the Guardians separate ways makes the most sense because he is the one who's been holding them together. So it makes sense if this is the last outing for these Guardians, if this is Gunn's last Guardians film, it's his favorite character, it's the character that's held them all together. For them to part ways, I feel like that character holding them all together has to die. And I think it will be like Groot in Volume 1, a massive moment of sacrifice to save one or maybe many of the Guardians. And I don't want to think about it because Rocket is my favorite Guardian, but I see him dying. I don't see 100%. Him living through this. I think he is 100% going to pass on. So yeah, it feels 100%. Bad saying that.
He's a gunner. Yeah. But at the same
they've been
time,
also playing it up a fuck ton. They've been playing it up in all the
Yeah.
posters. They played it up in the teaser trailer. I haven't watched the official trailers or anything, but in that teaser trailer and all the fucking posters, Rocket's fucking forefront. This man is a dog. This man's a goner.
Yeah, 100%. He's not making it past this movie, and it feels like that has been the journey all along. So I hope they pull it off. I'm looking forward to it. He's my third favorite Guardian, but he's like this from number 2 because number 1 is Nebula, number 2 is Gamora, and right there, I could say that Gamora and Rocket are both number 2.
Yeah.
So those are our thoughts on who is dying, who is not dying in Guardians of the Galaxy. I think only Rocket dies. I think Patrick thinks Nebula, Mantis, and no, not Mantis.
No, Nebula,
Mantis
Drax,
and Rocket. Yeah. They die. So who do you think dies? Do you think everyone dies? Do you think no one dies? Do you think any of the new characters die? Anything and everything, drop it in the comments below, drop it in the live chat. And now let's get to the fun part.
Cosmo will be
live questions.
Cosmo will be the only surviving member just so he can be the dog ending in Silent Hill 2 for the remake coming out. He's just going to do that so he can be a part of the dog ending of Silent Hill 2 remake. That's the only reason he's going to survive.
Cosmo is the only survivor, and the post-credit scene is Cosmo running off to tell Cosmic Ghost Rider, played by Keanu Reeves, what happened, and that's how I introduced Keanu Reeves into the MCU.
Is this confirmed?
Yes, confirmed right here. I just broke the news.
No, I'm going to share something with you really quickly, actually. If I can share my screen?
Yeah.
Like, this is what I'm trying to reference right now. Here we go.
Ooh, there we are.
This is the dog ending of Silent Hill 2. Like, Silent Hill 2, a horrifying video game, but this is one of the 2 joke endings. Like,
is that a dude in all fours?
Yeah, that's the main character, James Sunderland.
Oh, okay.
Like, he literally finds a dog key and walks in the what is it, Lakeview Hotel, and then walks in and sees the fucking dog at a panel, which has been like controlling all events this entire time, when that's not even what it is at all. But you know, I'm just saying this right now. If this ending doesn't appear in the remake coming out later this year, I'm gonna be so fucking mad.
I love that it's a Shiba.
Yeah.
All right.
It's hilarious.
It's a
I love it.
Doge.
It's a Doge. Right. Actually, I think that's where the Doge meme came from.
Ah,
I believe so. Hang on, Doge meme.
All right, let's start with Demolition Scott. I finished playing The Last of Us Part 2. It is. Okay, that's cool.
It's the same Doge.
From what year is the movie? Is the game? Sorry, not movie.
2002.
Wow,
it's
21
old.
years.
It's really fucking old. And the original Silent Hill, like, this motherfucker was on PS1 back in 1999 and was created to compete with Resident Evil with Team Silent, a part of Konami. Like, you know it's a bad game 9 times out of 10 when you see that fucking logo, but Silent Hill's great until fucking Silent Hill Homecoming. That game can suck my nuts.
All right, Demolition Scott. I finished playing The Last of Us Part 2 yesterday. An amazing game with a fantastic storyline. What was your experience when you played it the first time? And what could you expect in season 2 of the series? I would expect the game. With a lot of expansions on its ideas and themes. Or rather, to be more precise, I would expect half of the game. Because it's way too big a game for one season of television.
They've confirmed it's 2 seasons. It's going to be more than one season anyway. They've confirmed it's going to be 2 or 3 seasons because they aren't intending on it being shorter than 3 seasons. Like, Craig Mazin and Neil Druckmann have confirmed that there is going to be more Last of Us after they've done part 2. Like, they want to do this show for fucking ever. Ooh. And I'm like, hang on a second. You said that there is like no plans for a part 3. Hold the fucking bus. So
I'm with you. Playing it the first time, I had just finished playing the first one for the first time. I did not play The Last of Us when it came out. I did not play it for the longest time. And then early days of the lockdowns, the first lockdowns in 2020, I was scrolling Amazon, and this game that I heard so much about through the years, and it was only £15 on Amazon. I'm like, all right, let's finally try it out. And I played that, and I stretched it out because then part 2 was only coming out in June. So at a certain point, when I first realized the game was special, was when Ellie runs off from Jackson and Joel goes after her, and you have the scene in the bedroom. And that's when I like, okay. And then I click over on my laptop, and I'm like, okay, pre-ordered, cool. And eventually I completely fall in love with this game, and then I played part 2 through a weekend from Friday to a Sunday, and I finished on a Sunday. And many tears were shed. And right now I'm currently having my best friend playing through her first playthrough. She played the first one.
Is that
now
Bruno?
We watched the show. No, Bruno. Yeah.
Bruno, sorry.
She got to the golf club scene. So she's already on her way out. She's already in the city with Dina and
in Seattle and everything,
Shimmer and all that. Yeah, in Seattle. On the way to Seattle. She hasn't reached
On the way to
yet.
Seattle, sorry, the big open area she's in.
Yeah.
I love how open that area is. It's my favorite section
Yeah.
of part 2 so much. It's so beautiful.
So good. What was your first experience playing part 2?
I did a similar thing to you. The moment that game came out, I was streaming it. I streamed it in 2 days. I did 5 parts, but I would do. My first stream was very short. It was an hour and a half, but I was running on like no sleep. I slept for 4 hours, woke up, streamed for 4.5 hours, went to sleep, woke up 4 hours later, streamed for 8 hours, went to sleep, woke up 4 hours later, streamed for another 8 hours, etc. I played it over a 2-3 day period because I fell so in love with it. Yeah. I adore part 2. Like, if you couldn't tell, like, I have Ellie's tattoo from part 2.
I also want to get that tattoo, by the way. I want to get that tattooed. I wanted ever since I played it. Yeah. When you did it. You did it.
I did it. When the artist asked me, also, just so you know, like.
Yeah. You got that as soon as it came out, right? Because I remember you showing it to me like as soon as you brought it home.
Yeah. When they took down all the poster art, because like JB Hi-Fi gets it sent from like Sony and all that sort of stuff as like official artwork. They had no idea what the fuck they wanted to do with the poster because it has a cardboard cutout piece of Ellie. My friend who worked at JB Hi-Fi was like, "You want it?" Because I had raved about the game, and I'm like, "Yes. And I was so specific when I got this tattoo because I love the game so much. When the guy was like, "Oh, did you want it this way?" where the moth was at the bottom of my wrist, I'm like, "No." Did you want it on the left arm? No. It has to be in the exact same spot, the exact same size, the exact same way as Ellie from The Last of Us Part 2. Because the Part 2, it spoke so true to me because there's one moment in particular near the end of the game where Joel and Ellie are having that conversation the day before they went and played golf, and they were wanting to make amends after everything. And Ellie said, "I will never forgive you. I will never forgive you because you took something away from me that was mine. But I am willing to move on and make amends." That spoke so true to me because that's what I've done with my father, who is a terrible fucking human being. But even though I'll never forgive him for all the things he did to my mother, myself, my sister, because of my other 2 sisters, I wanted to move on to see them and to get to know them as their older brother. For my father to essentially Ellie's father, that moment spoke so true to me and fucking broke me. And that final shot of her walking away with that guitar was a lot to take in. I felt like I'd just been fucking punched in the heart. Like,
that porch scene is the greatest scene in those 2 games entirely.
Oh yeah.
And it's going to be destructive when they bring it to life. Absolutely fucking destructive.
I imagine the show is also going to be as brutal as the game was. I know that they held back with the gore with season 1, but I think season 2, because they know how much they can stretch it, and considering how much more violent part 2 is to part 1, they're showing everything when they play golf. They're showing all of the dismemberment, the wails and cries for help of all the scars and the wolves and all that sort of stuff. They are going to do everything in regards to brutality and violence. I can imagine season 2 and 3.
They've already confirmed. They've already confirmed it's going to be more violent, and it's going to be more than one season. It's going to be more violent, and it's going to have more clickers. And
where do you think season 2 will end off? Where do you think season 2 will end off, considering they've confirmed season 2, part 2 will be adapted into more than one season because it's too big a game?
It's a good question.
I think right as, what's his name again? The Asian bloke.
Oh,
Jesse. I reckon they're going to end season 2 on a cliffhanger right when Abby kills him.
Ooh. I think because part 2 has so many flashbacks, you could restructure that. Like, I don't want to do it chronologically. I don't want all the flashbacks to become like the linear sort of narrative. But I could see them rearranging a lot so that season 2 does end with them playing golf.
That would be That feels like a grim cliffhanger right there. That
I know. I would personally put that in like I wouldn't necessarily put it on a premiere on episode 1, but I would put it like episode 2. You have the premiere, you establish the new world, how much time has passed with these characters, and then in episode 2 you like shock the world. Yeah. That's when you drop the ball.
Bella Ramsey, they are going to bring it in this season. Like Bella Ramsey, they proved themselves as a wonderful actor as Ellie, and 100%. They are going to just they're going to get. I think they are going to get nominated for an Emmy or a Golden Globe alone just for fucking season 1.
They better nominate Pedro Pascal and Bella Ramsey.
Oh yeah, I think Bella in particular, they have a good chance. But with season 2 and how traumatic season 2 is and how much darker it is than part 1, holy crap, dude! If they don't bring their A game, there is a lot that won't work.
Yeah, it just sucks that we have to wait. All right,
yeah. Well, they're starting shooting this year, aren't they?
Yes, in the summer, I believe. But still, we'll have to wait a year at least for for season 2. I know. Nemesis Scott, what are your thoughts on Netflix canceling the DVD and mail service? I have no thoughts because I never used it, but also I didn't know it was still a thing. I didn't know it was still a thing because I never used it. So, did you use these ever? Did you know they were still around?
I thought it died out 5 years ago.
Okay, so same as me.
I remember doing it once.
Which one? Do you remember?
Like Silent Hill.
Oh, okay.
Because at the time we couldn't get a Blu-ray copy of Silent Hill in Australia. We just couldn't. So I was like, fuck it. I saw Chris Stuckman did his review of it and said that that's what he got through fucking Netflix as a mail thing. Okay. I'll do the exact same because I really want to rewatch the Silent Hill movie. I will defend that fucking movie till the day I die as one of the best video game movies ever made. It's not a great movie, but it's a damn good fucking adaptation. Silent Hill Revelations, on the other hand, can suck my fucking nuts. Here's hoping the new Silent Hill movie coming out this year is better. It's adapting Silent Hill 2, the best Silent Hill game. Like,
let's hope.
It's Christoph Gans returning, so I have faith.
All right, Demetrius Scott. Ren, did you think the latest trailers for both The Flash and Transformers Rise of the Beasts were good? How exciting from 1 to 10? No, I didn't think they were good, but I also didn't think they were bad because I didn't watch either. I've only seen the teasers, and that is it. I'm done. I'm already excited for Transformers Rise of the Beasts, and I am curious about The Flash. Let's put it that way. Patrick, what do you think? Did you see any of these?
I don't give a fuck about The Flash. I love Andy Muschietti, especially when he is still on WB's list and is currently rostered to adapt, even though I don't like the anime. He's currently in the listing to adapt Attack on Titan into a live-action anime.
Oh, you don't like the anime? Okay, interesting. I thought
I'm not a fan of the anime. I don't like it past season 2. I really don't.
Okay. I didn't make it past season 1.
Oh, I'm sorry. But he's currently the one who's been chosen to adapt to the live-action Attack on Titan adaptation. He's a great director, even though I don't love Chapter 2 of it. He does a damn good job. Mama is beyond fucking underrated.
Oh, Mama's so good.
Mama's so fucking good. So glad he brought Jessica Chastain as Beverly in It Chapter 2 after his direction and her performance in Mama. But Flash, that's had a lot of fucking issues. I'm not going to boycott the damn movie because that would be very unfair to everyone else who worked in it because of Ezra Miller. It's the same attitude I have towards Aquaman with Amber Heard and all these other people who are grubs in the industry. Like, I'm still going to watch fucking Scream 1 through 4, even though the Weinstein's production company were the ones that fucking, produced it. Just because of one person doesn't mean I'm going to boycott it. But at the same time, Flash has had a very troublesome production. It went through a fuck ton of reshoots. It's had a fuck ton of rewrites with the new DC slate. I also couldn't care less. It's the same attitude I have towards Fury of the Gods. It doesn't matter anymore. I understand that these people put their heart and their souls into it, and they still were passionate about this project. But in the grand scheme of things, it's a big problem because it's all trying to be connected as opposed to its own separate thing. So in reality, it doesn't matter going forward after The Flash comes out and Aquaman.
It's true.
I also think the trailer looks like a mess. I think the trailer looks very cheap. It looks like Flash season 5 to current day. Levels of bad CG. Yeah, the color grading in particular and correction is whoa. In the Zack Snyder's Justice League, the Flash stuff in regards to electricity really works because of the darker scenery. That's the time where I think a gray color palette really fucking worked. This is too bright. This is too bright, and the color correction, you can tell it's on a fucking green screen. Whereas at least in Zack Snyder's Justice League, I'm like, it has a great color palette. It's a lot darker thematically and visually. That's why this works, and it sort of hides the fact. Here, not the same effect. I think it looks very cheap. The story isn't interesting to me, which is really sad because I can't remember the actress's name, but I am so excited to see her as Superwoman.
Sasha Calle.
That's it. I'm so excited to see her as fucking Supergirl. I think she's going to fucking kill it in the role. I'm excited to see Keaton back. Have you seen the screenshots of the other character that's back?
Ben Affleck?
Okay, yeah, I was just making sure. Making sure.
No. He's in the trailer, but also I will tell you this. I know someone who watched The Flash this week, and I know every single cameo in it.
Text me them later or put them in the private chat because I really don't care about this movie. I'll see it.
You're going to see one name in there that is going to highlight how strange it is that a certain other name is not in there. And then you're going to see another name in there that you're like, they're putting this person in the movie? So
it's not Clooney, is it?
I'm not saying out loud.
Okay.
Either way, I'm not saying out loud.
I'm
gonna put the name. The name I was talking about where you're gonna be like, they put that person in. I'm going to put that person's name in all caps.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
These are some. I understand the first 3 and maybe 4 and 5, but that all capsed one, the one after that, and the one after.
I'll tell you about the last one specifically. I'll tell you about the last one specifically when we go off air.
Okay.
All right.
Really?
Let's. Yeah.
Rise of the Beast, on the other hand, looks great. I'll say that. Rise of the Beast looks phenomenal. I am so excited for that fucking movie. Dude, seeing Beast Wars or whatever that fucking animated show was, that was essentially Transformers. Well, it was a Transformers spin-off show.
It was.
And yeah, and seeing that brought, like, that was my childhood right there. I used to watch something like ABC3 when I was like 4 or 5 fucking years old, and seeing them adapted here, they look great. There's a beautiful. I know it's all CG. I don't care what anyone says. It's all one shot. It's still one shot. Oh my fucking god, the action in this movie looks nuts. And it actually seems like it's going to be like Bumblebee levels of heartfelt as well. Like, I'm excited. I'm really, really keen.
All right. Moving on to Lady Aaron, who's also asking about trailers. Thoughts on the new trailer for Disney's Wish and the first trailer for the Hunger Games movie. Disney's Wish. I've been really excited for this film because of the premise, because of what they talked about the animation. Let's talk about Ariana DeBose and her fucking pipes. I think she does an excellent job in this trailer with the little that we hear about her. I love the little joke with the goat, voiced by Alan Tudyk.
Of course.
Her voice is 100,000,000,000% magical. And the song itself, when it comes to the lyrics, the melody, it sounds so epic and grand and aspiring and inspire. Like, I think this is going to be nominated for Best Song. I think this is going to become one of the all-time Disney songs. and her voice is going to be a
Well,
big part of it.
her pipes are
I
just as good as Ella Cravalho in Moana.
yeah, if not better,
Yeah.
honestly. It's it's mesmerizing. Her voice is mesmerizing, and the song itself is mesmerizing. So you're combining these
Yeah.
two fantastic elements. The animation, I will say, I've been really excited because of the whole thing of mixing the 3D with classic 2D. At
Yep.
first, when the trailer, and I'll tell you, I watched this trailer twice. First time I
Mhm.
watched it, it felt really weird, almost like they're making um 60 frames per second animation and then cutting it down back to 24 in quote unquote post.
Yeah.
And that's when I watched it on my phone. Then I watched it on my laptop and it looks much better. At first it still looks weird, but weird in a good way. Weird because they're trying something new. Weird because they're taking risks with the visual palette
Yeah.
of this film. When it
But
comes to
that's
the
what
technical
Sing did,
aspects of it
wasn't it?
all, yeah. Sorry?
Didn't Sing do a similar thing?
I
In the
don't know.
musical performance moments, it would jump up to like 48. And then in the
Huh.
regular, like walking through the street and everything, it would bump back down to like 24 as usual,
I did not
filmers
notice it.
filmed. Really? Because I watched it on
Okay,
my
that's
what
interesting.
is it, 55-inch 4K outside, and I was like,
Okay.
these musical moments just are a higher frame rate, and it was very jarring the first time I watched it because it would jump back
Okay.
and forward. But it's actually done really well, and I'm always a fan of when they're able to do that really well because
Yep.
I think having a lower frame rate for animation gives so many avenues in regards to, like, if you can, it's what Puss in Boots, The Last Wish does so well. You
Yeah.
can pause at any moment and it's a perfect frame. You could
Yeah.
literally have it as a wallpaper
Yep.
because it's like cut up frames and it's like a stop motion but pre-rendered animation almost that was done in a computer through CG, as opposed to just fluid frame by frame, 48 frames a second. I've always been a massive fan of it. And I think Wish is going to do something truly beautiful because there are so many shots in this where I'm like, you could literally take a screenshot of any of these moments and
Exactly. It
frame it.
already looks like that.
And it's like a similar movie coming out that Kraken animated movie from Pixar that's coming out later this year.
Teenage Kraken. It's
Teenage
something
Kraken,
Teenage Kraken.
which looks beautiful, by the way. I first saw the trailer when I went to see the Super Mario Brothers movie, and I'm like, whoa, Ruby
Same.
Gillman, Teenage Kraken.
Ruby Gillman, that's it. Yeah.
It looks great.
Yeah. As far as the new Hunger Games movie trailer, I thought the trailer was genuinely spectacular, from the music to the visuals to the characters to the dynamics to the conflict they're exploring. And then it keeps going about 30 seconds too long. Not that I dislike those 30 seconds. It's just I didn't need them. I was like, cool, I'm in. I'm back into the Hunger Games hype.
Yeah.
By the way, I don't do this with Harry Potter. I didn't do this with Maze Runner. I didn't do this with anything. But as soon as I saw the first Hunger Games, I was like, I want to read these books. I cannot wait to see what happens.
Did you read
next.
the book
And I
of
read
Songbird and Snakes?
I did. No.
How good is it?
That's the one I didn't read. That's the
Oh,
one.
damn.
Bruna has it. Bruna has it. You know what? I haven't read in a long time. I was going to start books. I read a lot of comics, but I haven't read a book in quite a long time. I bought a Star Wars book at Star Wars Celebration. I was going to get back with that, but I shall be asking Bruno for the book now that I'm back in the hype.
So good. It's so good.
But yeah, the trailer is great. It's like, this is why I love this franchise. Like this trailer. And then just those 30 seconds, I'm like, no, don't give me any more. I'm in.
It's a long trailer.
Yeah,
it's a long trailer. It's like 3 minutes.
Yeah.
It's like a Fast and Furious trailer. I'm like, you don't need to show this much.
But at least it was only a first trailer. Patrick, what did you think of the trailer?
I've been worried about this movie for God knows how long because I've read the book and I know how good the book is. It's actually my favorite of the Hunger Games books. It's a very different type of Hunger Games to what we are used to seeing with the Katniss Everdeen book trilogy or the quadrilogy of movies. It's a very different type of game.
What was your favorite book before this one out of the trilogy?
Catching Fire, just like the movie.
Catching Fire. Okay. Interesting.
Even though
Catching Fire is my favorite movie,
But
Catching Fire is my
Mockingjay-
favorite movie. Mockingjay is my favorite book.
Well, that's the thing. Mockingjay is my second favorite book. I think it's far better than the first book. Like, the way that I look at it, Mockingjay, Catching Fire, Hunger Games. I think that first book is a little bit of a mess. And I even think that about the first movie. Like, I can't deal with the fucking shaky camera, quick cut editing that's in that movie. And I don't, it's so bad. I honestly find the first movie borderline unwatchable at times. Whereas Catching Fire, and even though I didn't like Mockingjay Part 1, I think Mockingjay Part 1, Part 2, and Catching Fire are much better movies. The original Hunger Games movie is still my least favorite. Same with the book. This book is so fucking different than the Katniss Everdeen trilogy of books or quadrilogy of movies. I don't think we need another trailer, because what this trailer did so well, having read the book, it hid so much of what the game is. And I love that.
Okay.
I love how much they hid the relationship between Lucy and Snow. I love how much they give an idea of the dynamic between them and also her snarkiness. But also they hide enough of their relationship and his true involvement as her mentor. Like, there is so much that is not in this trailer, and for them to show certain things would be a massive disservice to the story of Songbird and Snakes. It really would be, in my opinion. And considering how different this book is and how different this movie will be in the terms of how the game works and the different districts, I don't want anyone else to see anything else if they haven't or won't be reading the book. Like, it's one
I will
of
be
those,
reading book. I will not be seeing anything else, though.
We need to discuss it after you've read it, because it is that good. It is my favorite of the Hunger Games books.
Just be aware, I'm slow at reading books. Let me just add this. You know who I'm really happy for? Rachel Zegler. Because she shocked the world with West Side Story. Shazam! Fury of the Gods. She was good in it, but it didn't work out so well.
She was the best part of it.
Yeah, this is what can take her to the next step, just like it did for Jennifer Lawrence with Hunger Games. And I hope it does. She looks fantastic in this. I'm really happy for her.
I love the character of Lucy in the book, and I can't wait to see Zegler bring her to life.
She's
also
gonna crush it.
Viola Davis. Holy shit.
Yes.
She looks amazing.
Peter Dinklage.
Peter
I didn't know
Dinklage
he
as
was
well.
in this movie.
Yeah, he's the I can't remember the character's name, but he's playing the creator of the Hunger Games.
Yeah, he's Dean something. He has 3 names.
Dean
Viola
something.
Davis, like, I knew she was in it. Like, as soon as the trailer begins with her, I'm like, all right, she's in it. And then Peter Dinklage, I'm like, I did not know that. Or if I knew, just completely forgot. But yeah, a surprise to be sure, but a welcome one.
Viola Davis just looks like she's having a fuck ton of fun with this as well. She brings the same level of insane as what what's her name who played Effie Trinket? She just directed
Elizabeth Banks.
Elizabeth Banks. She brings the same level of insane and over the top as Elizabeth Banks, but she also looks like she's having way more fun with the role than what Elizabeth Banks was. Elizabeth Banks, by Catching Fire, looked like she was sort of bored with the role. Whereas Viola Davis just looks like she's having a fucking blast in this role. And I'm here for it. I'm here for the new Hunger Games movie. I am here for fucking, even though we don't celebrate it here, I will be seeing this on Thanksgiving.
Same. We also don't celebrate it, but I'll also be. Hopefully, I'll see it earlier than Thanksgiving. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Invite.
I don't have a Lionsgate contact, which is very upsetting because I want to.
I actually do. To the point where. Never mind. I'll tell the story off air.
Please help a friend out because your boy wants to be invited to Saw 10 this year.
Come over. Fly over, man. You don't need the hotel. Over. I have a roof for you if you want to come by around the Hunger Games time.
I work at an airport and I get fucking like discounted flights. That might be in the cards.
The invite has been made. All right. Lady Aaron asks, if you could meet any Star Wars, any actor or actress from Star Wars, who would it be and why? 100% Mark Hamill. He is Star Wars.
Yes.
Maybe a close second would be Harrison Ford, but Mark Hamill.
No, James Earl Jones.
Good shout. Good shout.
I'd have to
I'm
say
not going to say
James
you're
Earl
wrong.
Jones.
I'm not going to say you're wrong, but for me, it's got to be Mark Hamill.
Nah, I adore James Earl Jones, and he just seems like the cuddliest fucking guy in real life.
That's
And
true.
he's apparently like the biggest fucking jokester. Like, there's actually a joke in Big Bang Theory based on what he does to the stars of
The
Star
prank
Wars.
with Carrie Fisher and Carrie Fisher's
Yeah.
house. Yeah.
Yeah, he actually does that to them in real life.
Okay.
And I'm like, that's
cool.
fucking hilarious. Like, he
like
just
that.
seems like a massive fucking teddy bear. He's the type of guy I want to read me a bedtime story. I want to give him a fucking hug. I'd also love to meet Hayden Christensen. The fandom's love for him over the recent years has been really tremendous to see.
Yeah.
Very heartwarming. And another guy, because even though I don't love him in Attack of the Clones, I love him in Revenge of the Sith, and I grew up with him as Anakin Skywalker because I was born in 2001. I grew up watching him as Anakin. So, Yeah.
All right. Lady Aaron also asked, based on the early reactions we're getting for The Flash at CinemaCon, does this make you more excited to see the movie or more scared of watching the movie? Doesn't make me anything because I'm not watching those early reactions. I haven't seen the movie myself, so I'm not watching anything that people are saying about the movie until I watch it for myself. Patrick, you're the same, I assume?
Look, I see raved reviews about comic book movies and movies in general all the time where I then go watch it. I'm like, did you guys see the same fucking movie as me? Like, I saw Ant-Man Quantumania and I'm like, wow, I am ready to fucking walk out. It's been it's been a very long time since I've been ready to walk out of a fucking movie. I think the last time was Transformers The Last Night or whatever it was fucking called. The last time I was close to walking out of a movie. Quantumania, it's really sad when the best scene of the movie is seeing fucking MODOK's ass. That's what the movie is. The butt end of the joke is MODOK's ass. And that's what Quantumania is to the MCU, in my opinion. It's one of the worst MCU movies, in my opinion. I almost fucking walked out. But then I saw prior the raved reviews about it. I'm like, what? I'm sorry, what? Like,
I like Quantumania.
I don't. I really did like it. I almost walked out. I think it's one of the worst movies of the year thus far, personally.
Lady Aaron, even though it came out yesterday, are you guys planning on getting Jedi Survivor at any point? I wish I could have it already. I paid for it in advance. Patrick is already halfway through. I don't know if you are halfway through.
I'm more than halfway through.
You are enjoying
the game's a mess. The game's a mess.
Oh, it is.
It is one of the most poorly optimized games across all platforms. I want to enjoy the story. I want to enjoy the characters. There are two characters in particular where I'm like, I love you. Like, their bond and their camp. You could probably guess who I'm talking about. Cal and fucking Marin. Like, their bond is like Drax and fucking Nebula. I'm not Nebula, sorry. Drax and fucking Mantis and Guardians.
Okay.
Or Peter and fucking Gamora. Like, it is so fucking beautiful, and I love their chemistry so much. And there's a lot of flirting. I'll say that. There's a lot of flirting between them, which I fucking adore. I unfortunately can't enjoy the gameplay of the story because there is a lot of screen tearing. There are a lot of bugs. And there are a lot of fucking frame drops. I shit you not, my monitor can go up to 90 frames a second, and it will jump at random at all fucking times, whether I'm in gameplay, whether I'm transitioning into a cutscene or in the middle of a cutscene. It will literally drop to 14 frames a second.
Shit. Okay.
Which makes it borderline unfucking playable at times, and even after the day one patch, it has not been fucking fixed.
I have something to look forward to.
Enjoy.
All right. Lady Aaron, if you guys went to the Oscars, what kind of outfit would you wear? A suit?
Nothing.
A birthday suit for Patrick.
I wear a birthday. I'd come dressed up as Borat in a G-string.
Ah, nice. We appreciate it.
I'll even grow out the mustache and have the perm as well.
And the Kazakhstan flag.
Alias, very nice. From greatest country, Kazakhstan.
Thoughts on Carrie Fisher getting a posthumous star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame on May the 4th? About damn time. She should have gotten it while she was still with us. So, yeah.
I'm just going to say really quickly to Crashing Coyote, because he made a comment about Jedi Survivor on his PS5 being flawless. I'm playing on PS5. That's what I've been playing on. I'm playing it on performance mode, not quality. I'm still having these fucking frame rate issues. So maybe it depends on the copy. I don't know.
It could. It's not the first. I don't remember the particular game, but I remember like it was a PS5 one. It's gotta have been a PS5 one. But I remember to support Crashing Coyote, what he's saying. I remember a few times where games were getting like all these complaints that all these bugs and crashes are happening, and I was just playing it perfectly fine, and I never had an
Ratchet
issue.
and Clank.
Yeah.
Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart had a lot of those problems, and I was fine with that. So I think
it wasn't PS5. I remember it was Pokemon Sword and Shield, and on the and on the Switch when I was playing on the TV. Yeah, and all people were complaining about these crashes and all that, and I was like, no, it's working fine. So it could be so it could be a matter of the copy,
because I know Zach got a too. Yeah, I'm playing it on PS5 on performance mode, and I'm having these problems. And I know that Zach, he's doing the same, and he got a review copy. He's having the same issues. And Brett from BAM TV, because of the Critics Play Games group chat, he even mentioned that he was having the problems, and ever since the day one patch, he hasn't tried it since the day one patch, but his brother started playing it, and his brother is having the same issues as well. Like, we're all experiencing frame drops, bugs, and screen tearing even after the day one patch, and we're all playing on PS5.
Interesting. I'll let you know when I get mine. Hopefully tomorrow. Though I probably won't be able to start.
Hopefully tomorrow. You have a better experience than I, because us three are having a fuck ton of problems, and we're all playing on PS5 on performance mode, and we're still having the same issues. I refuse to play such a game on PC because I know the bad optimization that comes with PC with these types of games.
Yeah. Lady Aaron, thoughts on Guardians of the Galaxy being Marvel's first movie to have the F word? We discussed it. Do you hope for Guardians 3 to do well critic-wise and at the box office? Well, if it's a good movie, yeah. And I hope I like it too. But
hasn't the embargo lifted?
Yeah, because I saw Zach and Tessa and James and Leo all put their reviews up. I haven't watched any of them. I stayed away because I haven't seen it myself. But yeah.
It's sitting at like an 80% with 95 reviews right now. It's doing really well when it comes to critics. And I presume it wouldn't have an IMDb or Metacritic just yet because, it's not out.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. Lady Aaron, which in your opinion do you guys think is worse between First Man not getting nominated for Best Original Score and Babylon losing Best Score to All Quiet? It's First Man. Because Babylon totally should have won. It was the best score of the year, but at the very least, it was nominated. And we will always remember it that going into the Oscars, it was the favorite. First Man was the best score of 2018. It wasn't even recognized. It was just completely shut out. So for me, First Man not getting nominated is the worst.
And not only that, at least All Quiet won, and that also had a fucking phenomenal score as well. If it was something like A Quiet Place winning, then I'd understand the fucking frustration. But at least out of the other ones that could have won, it was All Quiet, as opposed to any of the other nominations, because the only one that came close to fucking Babylon, which, by the way, I loved Babylon. I watched it only a couple of weeks ago, and I fucking loved it. I
got the Steelbook, finally.
We're not even getting a fucking Blu-ray in Australia.
No.
We're not getting a Blu-ray of Malignant. We didn't get a Blu-ray of fucking of Babylon. We didn't get a fucking Blu-ray of First Man, from my knowledge. We still don't have a 4K version released of the original Scream trilogy, nor do we have a 4K release of Halloween 1978, even though that was released worldwide everywhere. Else. I had to order the Spiral from the Book of Saw 4K Steelbook from the US, because the Australian version has 15 more minutes of cut footage to what was shown in theaters, and we don't have a 4K. The only version, the only proper 4K version with the full movie of what it was in theaters, the Spiral you can actually get, is the collector's edition from VioVision, which, by the way, only 1 in 400 available across Australia, and I managed to snag one.
All right.
That's the only one.
Let's go, Patrick. All right.
$50 later.
Oh, shit. Okay.
Because it was a collection of all 9 movies.
Still, Lady Aaron, who is your personal favorite Star Wars character and your least favorite Star Wars character?
Ooh.
Favorite. There are three
Ezra
valid
is
choices
my
for
favorite.
me. Ooh, nice. I like that. I like
Ezra,
that choice.
least favorite.
Least favorites is Jar Jar Binks for me.
No, I wouldn't even say Jar Jar.
No
I've grown to sort of appreciate Jar Jar.
No,
I don't like
have
him,
not.
but I don't hate him.
I appreciate
either.
Ahmed Best. I do not appreciate
yeah.
Jar Jar.
Which I didn't like season 3 of Mando, but I loved seeing Ahmed Best as a Jedi in that one episode. That was really awesome to see. Least favorite. Who was that Jedi that fought Cad Bane with fucking Obi-Wan and Clone Wars on the Mist planet?
Oh, is it Kit Fisto or Plo Koon?
No, it wasn't either of them. It was the Jedi with the dreads.
Oh, yes, I know. Fuck.
That's how much I don't like him. I don't remember his fucking name. Quinlan Vos.
Oh, was it Quinlan? That's your least favorite?
I hate Quinlan Vos.
Shit. Okay, read the book Dark Disciple.
I might actually, because from Clone Wars, I fucking hate him.
He wouldn't be my favorite character. He wouldn't be my least favorite. But before reading that book, I wouldn't think like too much of him. I would be like completely indifferent. Read that book. I
just think his smart-ass attitude. It almost comes off pedantic and maniacal more than anything else. And it's like, where's your fucking humility, dude? Like, fuck off. Go away. You're not that good of a Jedi. Piss off.
Read that book. It's really fantastic. I cannot recommend it enough. And
I like the voice actor.
Yeah, he's good. Favorite, I'm going to go with the character I see myself in the most, which is Kylo Ren. But honestly, favorite, it's Kylo Ren, it's Vader, it's Luke Skywalker. It's like those three are the best Star Wars characters for me. Lady Aaron, with April, yeah.
I was just going to ask a quick question that's on this topic of Star Wars really quickly. Do you have a favorite Clone Wars episode?
Oh. Can I cheat? Because I think it's like a 2-parter or a 3-parter.
Yeah, of course.
To me, it's the episode on Mortis with the father, the son, and the daughter.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That's the best episode for me. Either that or
two.
You can go to Siege of Mandalore, but that also kind of feels obvious. But yeah, the one in Mortis.
I have 2, and they're from what is regarded by many as the worst season 1.
Ooh, okay.
Grievous Lair with Nada Veb and Kit Fisto. When they infiltrate Grievous's lair with Wolf, Wolf Team or whatever they were called, Kit Fisto's clone trooper brigade. Love that episode. It feels like a horror movie. Like, it's fucking terrifying at times. And seeing like the plates of the damaged Grievous get replaced, it feels like something out of like fucking Saw. And I just think as well, having a character like Nada Veb, who's a newly knighted Jedi, prove that he isn't ready, even though he became one, and seeing Kit Fisto see his Padawan die in front of him, like, it added this extra layer to Jedis themselves that even though they might be knighted, they're not always ready. They can still get ahead of themselves. And also seeing a Padawan or a former Padawan die in front of a master is also quite tragic. And then there's also, it's like a 3-parter episode. It starts off with Plo Koon and his clone army going up against this big fucking battleship with Grievous and Count Dooku on it. Then it gets to Obi-Wan and Anakin trying to save fucking Padme. It's the episode where there's the big fucking ray beam that has a big circular plasma sort of sphere fly out and disables all electronics and beacons. You know the one I'm talking about?
Yeah.
I love that trilogy of fucking episodes. I think it is amazing.
It's really good. I don't think, again, I think season 1 is definitely the weakest, but the episodes that are good are just as good as the best episodes.
Exactly.
Of Clone Wars. Like when it's good, it's fucking good.
Like the episode Ambush with Yoda and his clone troopers trying to get to the king.
First episode to ever air. It's not the first episode of the season of the series, but
no,
if
it's
you
like
watched
episode
it, like
5.
when it came out on TV. Yeah, it was the first one to air.
It's a damn good fucking episode.
It is with Ventress too.
Yeah, I know. So good.
All right. Lady Aaron, with April coming to an end in a couple of days, can you guys believe we're almost 1/3 of the way done with 2023? Yep. Time's moving fast. Long days, short years. All right. Lady Aaron also asks, Ren, have you listened to the new Ed Sheeran song Boat that he released last week? And if so, what are your thoughts on the song? I have. It's a really good song. And I kid you not, before that song came out, there's one line in that song that I had just written in something I'm writing. And then he says it in the song, and I'm like, what the fuck? That's really cool because it's a really good fucking line. So yeah. Patrick, have you listened to the song? Do you have any thoughts?
I'm not an Ed Sheeran fan. I think he's a good musician
enough.
and a good vocalist, but I don't think he's a great artist. A lot of his songs feel very safe and very similar to each other, and for that, it's very hard to listen to him at times because there's no it feels like there's a lack of originality with his albums and his different numbers, as opposed to many other modern day artists out there. Like what's his name? He did Stitches. Whatever. Fuck it.
No, all right. Dominican Scott, do you still use your phones for your videos sometimes? No. I mean, I haven't used this one. No, you know what? I actually used this one for the recap videos I did for Star Wars Celebration. Other than that, I never use my phone for my videos just because it's not really video quality. The video on my phone is actually really good. It's just the audio quality would be absolute garbage. So I personally don't.
And trying to align audio from phone to microphone if you're recording it through Audacity is a fucking nightmare.
Yeah, it's a fucking nightmare. That's why I have my good camera and my good microphone, and it's connected, so the audio comes directly as it is with the file, and I don't have to do anything.
Yep.
Lady Aaron, for Ren, with it being less than a week away to the release of the new Ed Sheeran album, are you excited to listen to it? Will you be listening to the regular album or the deluxe edition? Depends on the difference. If there's more songs in the deluxe edition, I'll listen to that. If there's only like versions of already existing songs but live, doesn't really matter to me, so I'll listen to the normal version. Nathan Madigan, will casual MCU fans who aren't familiar with Ms. Marvel and Monica Rambeau from their respective Disney Plus shows watch the Marvels? I think they will absolutely watch the Marvels. The thing is, will the movie bring them in, or will it just take for granted that they've seen it despite people not seeing it? I think
they'll be safe and bring it in. I think they'll be safe and bring it in.
I think so too. Because if they don't, that's not on the people who chose to not watch WandaVision.
Exactly. That's on
Ms.
Disney.
Marvel. That's on the movie.
Exactly. And I think Nia DaCosta knows better than that. Especially with how well she did with Candyman and making sure that it was a movie that fills you in even if you haven't seen the original trilogy. Like Nia DaCosta from her filmography knows better, and I think she would make sure of that personally.
Yeah, I only watched the first Candyman, and I was perfectly fine watching the new one.
Well, you didn't need to see the second or third one anyway. They're not good.
I don't know. For Ren, if you could pick only one Justin Hurwitz score from Guy and Madeline on a park bench, what is a bench park? Park bench, Whiplash, La La Land, First Man in Babylon, listen to the rest of your life, what would it be and why? I will not play this sick game, Lady Aaron. I will not say goodbye to any of those scores. If I was as mentally twisted as Patrick and I ended up choosing, I would probably choose Babylon. Sorry, not sorry, but I will not choose. I will not have a life without any of those other scores.
La La Land's score is not that great.
It's fantastic, my friend.
It's really not.
Right. Yes, it is. Jico EP. With Chris Pratt surprising majority of people, not everybody, but most, for being a pretty decent Mario, who are some castings that at first seemed like miscasting, but ended up surprising you? Popular answers would probably be Michael Keaton as Batman and Chris Evans as Captain America. Mine actually is Chris Evans as Captain America. I, as someone who grew up with those Fantastic Four movies, I like him in those, and to this day, I think he's the most aptly cast member of that ensemble.
Yeah,
as someone who
he's actually a damn good Human Torch.
Yeah, he was. When he was announced for Captain America, I was like, really? Chris Evans, the guy who played the Human Torch? And lo and behold, my favorite all-time well, obviously, there's only been one. My favorite all-time MCU character. It's Captain America, and a lot of it is because of Chris Evans. So that's got to be it for me. Because another popular answer might be Heath Ledger as Joker, but I wasn't outraged because I just wasn't into that sphere yet. When The Dark Knight came out, I was 15, so I still wasn't too much into the
God, you're
internet
all...
sphere. And yeah, I know. Yeah, but do you have one, or is it the same for you?
I'm gonna go a little different. I'm gonna
Yeah.
go with Christopher Sabat as Vegeta and Piccolo.
Oh, okay.
I'd heard him in many things prior. I think he's a damn good voice actor. He's fucking phenomenal. I didn't think he'd be good or be able to differentiate his voice all too well for what is it, fucking Vegeta and fucking Piccolo. He does a damn good job. I'll even say what's his name? Because he also voices All Might in My Hero Academia. But I'll also say the guy who voices David in Cyberpunk. Edge Runners.
Oh,
He's
I
Tanjiro.
haven't watched it.
I watched the dub because, you know, I didn't like the Cyberpunk game. I'm not really into that world or anything like that. So I was like, fuck it, I'll just watch the dub so I can, you know, sort of turn my brain off if need be. And yeah, it's very much so a turn off your brain anime. It's nowhere near as good as people made it out to be, in my opinion. It has a fuck ton of problems. But the guy who voices David, fuck, he won Best Anime Dub Performance of 2022 because he was that damn good. And he also voiced Tanjiro Kamado and in Demon Slayer. And I don't like the dub of Demon Slayer. I don't think he's good as Tanjiro, but he's damn fucking good as fucking David.
All right. GKOP, do you think Marvel doing multiverse mean they were running out of ideas? Okay, there's an alarm outside. I was like, what the fuck is going on? Running out of ideas? No, man. I live alone. I couldn't call anyone.
Oh, I thought she lived with you.
No. I mean, I could call someone on my phone, but I couldn't couldn't call out. Okay. Do you think Marvel doing the multiverse means they were running out of ideas or give them a chance to be ambitious, even if not all projects hit? Also, should they have made Secret Invasion this saga instead? Doing multiverse is just opening yourself up to be allowed to be more creative and more kooky and more imaginative and all that. I don't think Marvel doing the multiverse means either. It was only a chance for them to be more ambitious. Secret Invasion being this saga, I don't think Secret Invasion is a saga, honestly. I think, if anything, at most, Secret Invasion is an Infinity War and an Endgame. I don't think Secret Invasion is a saga. If you made Secret Invasion a phase, but when I say a phase, like a phase the size of Phase 1, it'd already be stretching it a lot.
Especially if you know Secret Invasion, it's just a culmination of so many fucking characters, and there's going to be a lot of fucking cameos through the multiverse again. And
that's Secret Wars. You could have Secret Wars
beat. Yeah, Secret Wars.
Yeah, Secret Invasion is the Skrull one. Yeah.
My bad.
It's not that big, Secret Invasion. Like, the implications of it are obviously big, but like the narrative of it itself, it's just not that massive.
No.
So yeah.
I don't know. I'm not that into the MCU anymore. I literally have like 4 projects I'm excited for, being Guardians, Deadpool, Blade, and fucking Daredevil. I don't care about the MCU anymore. I'm done. I really am. It's sad because I loved MCU up until Endgame, and then, you know, I've just been disappointed time and time again since. It's not even from expectations. It's just from the scripts to the very lackluster production design and costuming and direction at times. Like, I loved Eternals. I loved Shang-Chi. Spider-Man No Way Home is fine, in my opinion. I just haven't enjoyed it. I really haven't.
Yeah.
That's just
All
my
right,
opinion.
we're gonna.
I'm
Yeah,
I'm
of
happy
course.
for anyone. I'm happy for anyone who loves it, and I don't think that to say that it has no
This guy.
direction is fair. I don't think that's fair at all. I definitely see that there's a direction. I just haven't been enjoying it.
And that's perfectly fair. All right, I'm gonna take 3 more questions. Do you for Jico EP? Jico, I was gonna say your name again. Do you guys really think Barbie will make a lot of money? I know Film Twitter is excited, but that's their own bubble. Plus, Margot Robbie's recent track record at the box office has not been great. But that's not her fault. I think Barbie is appealing to a lot of people. I know Film Twitter, just like you said, it is very much their own bubble. But even out in the streets, I have a lot of people aware and excited for the Barbie movie. And I will admit, some of them are ironically excited, so to speak, but they're still going to go. I don't think
people.
Yeah.
I was just going to say that there's a lot of people that will go to see the movie because they've always fantasized about being beached off by Henry Golding and Ryan Gosling.
Yep. And look, I don't think Barbie is going to make $1 billion. I don't think Barbie is going to even make 800 million. But Barbie is going to make money,
at least,
especially for the budget that it has. It's going to get back, and everyone will be talking about it. Not only Film Twitter, but the general audience.
It's going to have a
massive appeal movie. Yeah, 100%. And you got Margot Robbie and you got Ryan Gosling. Again, when we're talking about Margot Robbie recent box office track record, the money that it made was in great part because of Margot Robbie. It was just the movies themselves. Like Babylon is fucking spectacular, but the trailers for a general audience, as someone who loved the trailers, for a general audience, like, what the fuck is this? And Amsterdam was just shit on a bucket. So I'm glad nobody saw that.
I didn't even see it. I saw the trailer. I'm like, no. I received an invite, and I'm like, I feel like saving my time now. I'd rather go to bed.
Save it.
It's the same thing
as
2
hours 20 minutes. Oh, give me a second. Sorry.
Yeah, right.
Sorry about that.
Is it Amazon?
Yes, it is, but it's not it's not Fall. No, it's not Survivor. It's something else. That one is only coming tomorrow.
Damn.
I wish, man. I wish. Yeah. All right. Penultimate question. Lady Aaron, with Return of the Jedi being re-released for its 40th anniversary very soon, aka yesterday, are you guys planning to go out to a theater and watch it on the big screen? I did, and I was very happy. I was a very happy camper. Patrick, did it get re-released out there? Are you going to see it if it did?
I'm checking because last time I checked it wasn't, because Australia always gets fucking ignored with these things.
Well, to be fair, these things, Portugal never gets these things either. If I was there, I wouldn't have the opportunity.
Return. Nah, we're not getting it.
Aw, man.
Nah, because, why the fuck would we? We're just Australia, where a lot of, big budget films are
don't exist. You're not a real country.
Apparently so, even though a lot of big budget films that are coming out have been filmed here, like Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes and Godzilla, X Kong.
I keep forgetting that's a movie. For some reason, I constantly think it's a show. I don't know why.
We have a lot of Marvel movies that are now being filmed here. Fucking hell. But no, why the hell would we have them fucking release around here? Because we're one of the biggest fucking filming locations in the world right now. The new Mad Max is being filmed here again.
Yeah, it is. And my favorite show of all time was filmed there. And most of the cast members, and maybe also crew members, are from there. So, yeah.
The new Evil Dead movie was partially filmed in Australia and New Zealand with a largely Australian fucking cast.
Yeah, both the main actresses are Aussies. And
four of the
impressive American accents.
Well, 4 of them are Australians, and one of them's a New Zealander.
That I didn't know. All right. Final question. Do you think actors from GeekOVP, do you think actors should have a say in how to bring a character to life, especially if they're a big fan of the character and property? I heard Marshall Ali was involved in selecting the new writers for the new Blade, both done work for the Watchmen miniseries and What They See Us, with the goal of giving the film a more darker tone. Ryan Reynolds with Deadpool, Jenna Ortega with Wednesday. I think actors should be involved in how to bring a character to life because filmmaking is a collaborative process.
Exactly.
Period.
And they're the ones playing them, so therefore it should be their take. But I feel like the director is, their role impartial is to elaborate on their take and their vision for the character after reading the script and their visionary direction in collaboration
100%.
with the writer, and the director is to elaborate and evolve onto that to bring that role to life through the actor. Like, I look at things like voice actors. If you look at a voice actor in particular, it's impossible to bring a character to life without their own interpretation, especially if they want to differentiate performances from each other. When it comes to physical performances, it's a lot easier because there is so much more you can do to differentiate performances and to bring them to life, as opposed to voice actors who have to differentiate things such as vocal cords, exercises, and also pitches. They have a lot more limitations. So therefore, a voice actor has a lot of involvement with bringing that character to life and their portrayal. But I even think when it comes to live action, like if you're looking at a Marvel movie, DC movie, if you're looking at an indie film, it is very important personally for me to have it be a collaborative effort where collaborating with the writer, whether that is also the director or not, the actor is to elaborate on the writing material, or the written material, I should say, more than anything, to create their portrayal. And then they pitch that to the director, and the director is to elaborate and evolve upon that to craft the story and the scenery around them.
Yep, I agree. It goes back to it being a collaborative process in general. But then, like, how to bring a character to life, do I think they should necessarily be involved in the makeup, in the costuming? Not really, because those are the least important things in bringing a character to life. Like, are the actors who are bringing the character to life also producers? And their involvement in bringing the character to life also includes the rest of the casting and the shooting locations and I don't know, the
casting director
of the casting director. Are they part of the writing process? I think unless you're an actual producer of the film, it kind of becomes dangerous to allow the actors to step in there, unless they're also either an actual producer or the writer themselves. Like if it was Ben Affleck, if he was involved in writing a film in The Batman, which he was also going to direct, he was also going to star in it. He absolutely should be involved 100% into everything that bringing that character to life entails. But that movie didn't end up happening. So I absolutely agree there are several different degrees to which you can be involved, but I think to one or the other, an actor should absolutely and can absolutely be involved in the process of bringing a character to life. I think that's important, not only for their performance, but to understand the character and to really understand the world they're stepping into, and it will make a better movie in the end. It will give a better result overall. So yeah. All right, everyone. That has been our longest show in a while. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for all your questions. Thank you so much to Patrick for joining me today. Next week, can we have a show? Let me check. No, we cannot. I actually work in the morning next Saturday, so I will have a freer day than most. But I will actually. So next week, because I work at this time, next Saturday, I will still be working. I will still be 20 minutes away from finishing my shift. So we cannot have a show. But because it is Guardians of the Galaxy week, because I will have a spoiler-free, a post-credit scenes explained, and a spoiler review for it, Sunday we'll also have a live Q&A. Not a live Q&A, but like a live spoiler discussion to just talk Guardians of the Galaxy, and we'll make up for the lack of of This Week in Geek show. Patrick, if you want to join next week, if you can,
Yeah.
you're more than welcome. And maybe we'll have Patrick, we'll have Zach, we'll have more people, and hopefully just a fun roundtable sort of debate. So that's my promise to you next week. Thank you so
I'm
much.
going to hate it on purpose to be different.
Okay, nice. What if I hate it accidentally?
That'll be upsetting because I don't want to hate it. I really don't. I want to love it.
It's the MCU. I'm an MCU shill, man.
According to Twitter.
According to Twitter, yes. And Twitter is always right.
Exactly.
Yeah. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. Come back next week. Let's talk Guardians of the Galaxy again and find out who was right between me and Patrick. Until the next one, I still will also make a Beau is Afraid review. I'm taking my time to process that. It's not that it's that deep, like it's very obvious what the movie is doing, but just how I want to talk about it is the part that I really want to think through.
At least you got to see it. I love Ari Aster.
It only comes out on the 19th here.
I adore Midsommar.
We technically also don't have it.
I adore Midsommar, and I love Hereditary. Like it was one of my favorite. It was my second favorite movie of 2018. I am very upset that Beau is Afraid is not. Yeah, I don't agree with you at all regarding Hereditary. Nobody
does.
Nobody does. Exactly.
As you are in good company.
Hereditary
I am a one-man
amazing.
Island.
But no, I love Ari Aster. I just wish I could see Beau is Afraid. I'm all for what I've heard in regards to how ridiculous, insane, and quite disturbing it is. I love the idea of it being a movie that people are like, what the fuck did I just watch? Because that's what I sort of expect from Ari Aster. But it's not releasing any local theater to me within a 150-kilometer radius. I'm very mad.
Hopefully soon it changes. All right, everyone. Stay tuned for the weirdness, the wonderfulness, and all the good things that come with movies. So until then, love each other and love the movie.